Hey there everyone, it's Naomi here and I'm back for another week of rapid renovation tips. So, are you feeling a little lost when it comes to finding your perfect property to start your renovation dreams? You've got the business part all down pat, your money side's ready to go, you've done all of the homework except for the property part, and now you're stuck trying to figure out what sort of property you're even going to be looking for or what sort of property you should be going after. Or maybe you're freaking out a bit because you don't know how you're possibly going to fit in trying to see a pile of properties in the market when you're already super busy with your schedule. So that's totally normal. It's easy to get confused when there's just so much information out there for you to sift through. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here to help defuzz some of those tricky bits like figuring out which market you should be buying in. I'll help you figure out what property you should be looking for and how you're going to go about doing it without losing your mind. So it's completely normal to feel a little overwhelmed by the property market. It's almost like it was designed to freak people out and stop them from taking the plunge into renovating for wealth. But as they say, where there is a will, there is a way. So let's get cracking. Now, before I go into any detail, remember my golden rule. It's all about you. I might sound like a bit of a broken record with that, but it's so important to remember who's leading this show. You are the boss of this. This is your jam. You need to rock it in a way that only you know, which means doing this your way, this being about your journey. And I don't mean like, okay, I'm not saying go show up to work in your underwear, not a rebel of that sort. What I mean is in the way that it suits your goals and your lifestyle and your version of wealth. This means choosing a property that's right for you, not the one that your mother tells you is a safe choice or the one that your kids say is fantastic because it has a pool in the back. Because they're not the experts. They're not the experts on what's around the corner or what you should be looking for in a renovation project. Okay, it's not all about them. We've established that. But what is going to work best for you and your journey? That is what we need to figure out. So how are you going to find that perfect property that fits that? How are you going to make that work? Well, just like any business, renovating to create wealth takes a lot of planning. And at the end of the day, it's all about minimizing your risk and maximizing your reward. So would you, for example, rush in and buy a cafe that costs loads of money without any previous cafe experience? Probably not. And the same applies for property. You can't get too excited and carried away at an auction and throw all of your cash into the first thing you see. It's not like a Monopoly game. You don't want to own everything on the board. Nope, you need to do your research first. Sure, that property that was just talking about at auction, it might look absolutely perfect for you, or you think so anyway. It's got an old bathroom that needs a facelift, and it could do with a new paint job, and then an extension to the veranda. Fantastic. Not too much work, well within your budget and time frame. Great, right? But what if the house is actually heritage listed and there's some sort of easement that prevents you from building over it in that really weird crappy patch of grass, and there's a water sealant in the bathroom that started to degrade, and the floorboards are actually rotten underneath a certain area of carpet and it's in desperate need of replacing, and what if they're actually building a huge factory across the road in the next 6 months? See, it might be a bit extreme, but without properly sniffing out all of these potential pitfalls, you might find yourself stuck with a property that would absolutely kill your budget and in turn any potential profit. So let's think about this. Buying hot or actually not buying hot at all? Okay, I want you to remember how I said that I wouldn't just follow the advice of random experts. And when I say that, I mean random experts in the media, in the mainstream media. The ones that when you search perfect suburb for renovating, it pops up. So why not? I hear you all asking, why not, Naomi? Because this type of mainstream property advice where it says to you, a suburb is booming now. The key word there is now. Why would you want to buy a property in a suburb that's booming now? Are you going to be finished the house flip now? Probably not. So the catch with snatching up a property in a suburb that's all hotcakes at the moment is twofold. Number one, you'll most likely be paying way more than you wanted to for that property. And remember the old chestnut saying, buy low, sell high. Well, it definitely applies in renovating for wealth. The more you pay at the start means the more difficult it'll be to make a profit at the end. And secondly, you'll do all the proper stuff like exchanging the paperwork and the money and finally getting around to the renovating. It'd be like taking a pie out of the oven. It doesn't stay hot forever. And if it's already hot when you grab it, that property is already hot when you catch it, by the time you're finishing renovating, no one wants a cold pie. So sniffing out the ideal suburb is essential. Now, food connotations aside, to find your perfect property, you need to first think about this, okay? You don't want it to be like finding a needle in a haystack. So when you actually narrow down to just a few suburbs, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. The best way to do this when you're first starting off is actually look at the suburbs around you, those ones right underneath your nose when you're first starting out, because it's going to be a lot simpler and a lot more achievable for you. So choosing suburbs close to you to start looking into will mean that you're physically able to go there. It might be after you've dropped the kids off to school. You can then have a look around the neighbourhood before you do the grocery run. Or it might be, especially in summer months, that you're able to view some properties and do some drive-bys on the way home from work when it's still daylight. In this way, you'll be able to see what sort of people are attracted to particular suburbs and what sort of development is happening in those areas, and just get a general, rate of what's going on with those properties. So with the right research and a proper, solid process to start uncover the suburbs that are going to hold these properties to create wealth for you, you can actually start this journey and take these next steps without fear and instead with excitement and enthusiasm to your new career or your new venture in renovating to create wealth.